My name's Rafael and you're watching Rockstar Garage, and today we're going to talk about GTA, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and the best songs from that game. But first, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comment below, and tell me what you think, if you have played the game or not. It's one of my favorites, and let's start. Rockstar, which is the company which created the Grand Theft Auto franchise, released in 2002, more than 20 years ago. Man, we're getting old. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and it was part of my childhood. I've played that game non-stop for years, certainly, and it was really part of my childhood, and it helped me to really discover many incredible songs, because in the game, if you don't know the game, it's an open world game. You know, you can go around the city, get in cars, drive around, get anything. You know, you can do anything practically in the game. And it's in the 80s, and it has influences and references to Scarface and Miami Vice, for example. And it's really a great game, and you know, I had so much fun playing it. But I also discovered many great tracks, and today I'm going to list a few of them, and tell me if you agree with me or not. You know, there were many different radios. You could tune it up in the cars you were driving, and there were some with more rock and roll music, heavy metal, or more pop, or everything from the 80s. You know, many different kind of styles, and you have that in the other GTA games, obviously, that was released after that. And the first one I want to list is from Foreigner, and it's the track "Waiting for a Girl Like You," which was released on their 1981 album 4. And you know, Foreigner is certainly one of the greatest arena-oriented rock probably bands of all time. I think Lou Gramm is certainly one of the most underrated singers of all time, and that is such a great track. It's a great ballad, and it was probably the first time I heard this song was in the Vice City game, when I was still a little kid, and it was an incredible experience, you know, to play the game and listen to these songs all the time. And it certainly made me like rock and roll really much. You know, it planted that seed in my ears and in my brain to like rock and roll music. And we go to the next one, which was from Squeeze, which was Tempted, probably their biggest hit, which was released also in 1981 in their album East Side Story. And it's another great band that I think it's really underrated, and they had many other incredible songs. If you haven't heard more of Squeeze besides this song, I think you should certainly check it out, because they're a great band. And well, let's move it faster. I want this video to be short. And the next song is by Khat and Crew, and is "I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight." That's certainly a big 80s hit, right? And it's was released in 1986 on their album Broadcast. And it was a big hit back then, and certainly is one of the biggest hits from that era. But they also have, although they are a band that is obviously more known for this song, and maybe some people might call them a one-hit wonder, but they have many other great tracks. If you haven't checked it out, and this is a tip I want to give you, you know, when you know a band, oh, I know just one song from that band, go to Spotify or to your streaming service and look at the top five songs from that band and listen to them. You know, they might have at least more 2 or 3 songs you like, and I did that many times, and I discovered more. And then when you start to like a band, and then you go listen to the records and etc. You know, it's a good it's a good thing to do, in my opinion. And we move to the next one, which is Roxy Music, and this is a big hit, More Than This, probably the most famous Roxy Music track, and it's a fantastic, fantastic song. And I mean, Bryan Ferry is certainly a very underrated singer, and he has a beautiful solo career too. There are many great tracks from his solo career, like Slave to Love, and he's covered for the John Lennon song I'm Just a Jealous Guy. It's a beautiful cover too. If you haven't heard his solo career yet, you should check it out. And obviously, many other great Roxy Music songs like Avalon and many others. You should check them out for sure. And we move to the next one, Mr. Broken Wings, certainly their biggest hit. And, they're not just Mr. They have many other great tracks. And it's certainly their biggest hit. It peaked at #1 at the Billboard Hot 100 back in 1985, and it's a huge monster smash hit, and it's a great track as well. And it's certainly one of the coolest songs from that game. We move to the next one, and we go to another big hit, which was Night Ranger's Sister Christian, released in 1983 in their album Midnight Madness. Another great track, another great song that was part of that game, and it certainly captures that 80s vibe, and it's certainly one of the greatest songs from the 80s in my opinion. And it played non-stop on the radio, right? And I mean, it keeps playing. It still is a great song. All these songs are still great until nowadays, and it's another song that was really a big part of the game. And we go to the next one, which is from one of my favorite bands, which is ELO, or Electric Light Orchestra, fronted by Mr. Jeff Lynne, and the track is Four Little Diamonds, and it was released in their 1983 album Secret Messages. And it's if I'm not mistaken, this is the song, and forgive me if I'm mistaken, but the intro, Jeff Lynne says, after four, and the song starts. And I think that's such a cool way to start a song, because there are many other bands that count it until 4, and it's really cool. And it's one of ELO's greatest songs. They had many hits, many great songs, but I think that's one of the coolest songs. You should hear it. And we go to, I don't know, this is probably the biggest hit Yes had, the progressive rock band Yes, the British progressive rock band Yes, who, like many progressive rock bands, maybe after the Genesis success, they followed that when Genesis became a more commercial band. They changed their sound to a little bit more commercial band, mixing progressive with pop. And Yes did that in the 80s, and in their 1983 album 90125, they released Owner of a Lonely Heart. That's certainly one of the biggest rock and roll hits from the 80s, and it's an incredible track. Such a big hit, such a big guitar riff, such a great guitar riff, and it's one of the greatest songs for sure. Then obviously there might be people who say, oh, that album sucks because Yes was better as a progressive rock band, but I also like that Yes era, more pop orientated, more commercial. And we move to the next one, which is The Outfield, Your Love. Well, that's certainly their biggest hit, one of the biggest hits in the 80s, and it is interesting because I have seen many people who don't speak English. I'm from Brazil. These people that I knew once in a while in my life, they didn't speak a word in English. They were not music experts. They didn't know maybe even the name of bands from the USA, for example. But their phone ringing, when their phone ring, it was that song. And I found that the coolest thing, and it still is something that amazes me, because I've learned how to speak English, and as you may know, I'm not, a fluent speaker. I believe I still make a few mistakes, as you can see in the videos, but I've learned probably 95% of, my English. It's probably 99 comes 95% from music and movies. And obviously, back when I was a kid and like 3 or 4 words in English, and I heard these songs, I didn't know nothing about what was being said in the lyrics. But the melody and the instruments and everything else, the arrangement, caught my attention and made me feel good. And I was connected to that. And later on, I was understanding more over the years what the singer was saying. But I find that a really interesting thing. And this song, it really does something to people as well, because I experienced seeing live people who had no idea even which band was it or the name of the song, but they like it. And it was it was on their phones, and every time somebody called them, it was this music playing, and that's really cool. And we moved to the next one, which was a heavy metal hard rock track, which is certainly one of my favorite Motley Crue tracks, which is Too Young to Fall in Love, released on the 1993 on their album Shout Out the Devil. And I'm really sad that they didn't play this song in this recent reunion, because I had the chance to see them in 2023. Unfortunately, without Mick Mars on guitar. It was already John Five as the guitarist, but he did a very nice job. And I was really expecting that they would play this track, but I don't think they still play this. They still haven't played this song since they reunited after the pandemic. But it's a great track, and it's certainly one of my favorites from Motley Crue, and was a big part of the Vice City game, GTA Vice City game. And we move to the next one, another more heavier song, which is by Quieto Riot, which is Come On Feel the Noise, released on their 1983 album Metal Health. And, this is a cover, obviously, from a very underrated British band called Slade. If you haven't heard that version yet, you should hear, and you should hear the entire Slade discography, because they're amazing. They're one of my favorite bands for sure. One of the most underrated bands of all time, in my opinion. And it's a great song. It's a great track. You should check it out. And it was a hit. And, although I love Slade, I think that the Quieto Riot version is the best. The original version is great, but the Quieto Riot version, the drums, the vocals, and the guitar solos are really something else. And it's certainly better than the original, in my opinion. And we move to the next one. I don't want to be a long video, but already it is, so let's speed up. It's Bark at the Moon, the title track from the 1983 Ozzy Osbourne album, Bark at the Moon. And it's certainly one of the most underrated Ozzy Osbourne albums for sure. It was the follow-up to Diary of a Madman, the final album with Randy Rhoads on guitar, who was one of the greatest guitarists of all time for sure. Who tragically passed away in an airplane crash. But this album had Jake E. Lee as the guitarist, who is certainly one of the most underrated Ozzy Osbourne guitarists that Ozzy Osbourne had. And we move to the next one, which is Loverboy, which is a great Canadian band, in my opinion. If you haven't heard more of them, you should definitely hear. They have many great songs, and this is one of their biggest hits, released in their 1981 album Get Lucky, and the track is Working for the Weekend. A cheerful song, a song that if you want to gain energy and brighten up your day, you should listen to Working for the Weekend. Great song. We move to the next one, which is from a super group, called Alcatrazz, and it is God Bless Video, released in 1985 on their album, which has a very funny name, which is Disturbing the Peace. And why I say it is a super group, well, it had Graham Bonnet on vocals. Graham Bonnet, who achieved fame as the vocalist for Rainbow. He replaced Ronnie James Dio on Rainbow when Richie Blackmore decided to go to a more commercial sound, become more commercial, and that Rainbow would be a more commercial band. And he recorded with Rainbow Down to Earth, that great album, and which is very underrated in my opinion. And later on, a few years later, he formed Alcatrazz with many other incredible musicians, and the first guitarist Alcatrazz had was Yngwie Malmsteen. And later on, they recruited Steve Vai, and in this track, God Bless Video, which is great, it is Graham Bonnet on vocals and Steve Vai on guitar. Great song, should check it out. We move to another great one, which is Turn Up the Radio by Autograph, which was from the album Signing Please, released in 1984. Great track, one of my favorite ones from the game, and I discovered that track in the game as well. Such a great song, and you know, it's a very underrated band and a very underrated track. If you haven't heard, you should check it out. And we move to the final one, which is a Judas Priest classic, which is You Got Another Thing Coming, from the 1982 album Screaming for Vengeance. And it's a great track, one of the greatest ones for sure, that are on GTA Vice City, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And I mean, if you're a young kid and never had the chance to play GTA Vice City, go, man. You know, it's a great game. You should definitely play the game. You know, all the GTA games are perfect, are fantastic, but GTA Vice City, it's great. It's got a great soundtrack, as you can see, and you know, these are just one of the few songs that are fantastic. But you know, there's much more, and you should definitely go and have a listen and play the game. Okay. And thank you for watching. I see you later, and please like the video, subscribe, leave your comment below, tell me what you think, and visit rockandrollgarage.com. You can go to the description and read the article about this and much more. Thank you for watching. See you later.